25 years of Rockies baseball.
25 years of home runs.
It's the storybook ending for the Rockies.
Walk-offs. My favorite. This team.
These Rockies.
He did it again! He did it! What a catch! Ball game over.
We're hungry.
He's got it with a heater. Strike three on the corner. There's hero baseball. Rockies win.
We've tasted Rocktober.
Rocktober is upon us once again.
And we want more.
This ball hit a long way to center field. Way back. Ball game over.
The time is now. So let's go, Colorado.
How do you love September now?
Let's make it happen.
Tonight.
Here come the Rockies. Take a good look. You will see it for long. It is go time. It is late September, and it is in the heat of a pennant race. The Rockies trying to secure a spot in October, and they'll take on the Phillies, who have stumbled here over the last month. At one point, they were in first place for a good portion, in fact, of the season in the NL East, but they're just a game over 500. They were officially eliminated yesterday. The Atlanta Braves will win the National League East. The Dodgers a game and a half in front of Colorado. They're at Arizona tonight. And St. Louis a game and a half in front of Colorado in the wild card. We'll keep you abreast of how those clubs are doing. St. Louis at home against Milwaukee right now, scoreless in the second inning. John Gray will start this homestand out. It's been a week since he's appeared. The Rockies, they didn't skip him, they just pushed him back. And again, Tyler Anderson was supposed to go. You heard from Taylor earlier that he had to be pushed back because of a sore shoulder. So John Gray on the big stage tonight. Here's the Southwest batting order for the Phillies this evening. They have struggled out on the road. Good player in their leadoff man, Cesar Hernandez. Carlos Santana signed a big deal, came from Cleveland. He'll play third base and he'll bat second. Odubel Herrera has big time pop. Rhys Hoskins, one of the better young sluggers in the game. Wilson Ramos from Tampa came up just about a month or so ago. Aaron Altair, Scott Kingery, another good-looking young player. Zach Eflin, the pitcher, will bat eighth. And Roman Quinn in center field, a young player who can fly. John making his 30th start of the year, looking for victory number 12, and really just trying to find that spot he was in for about 6-7 weeks after he returned from Albuquerque.
Well, he's had a rough stretch. The last 3 starts for him, an over 10 ERA. He's 0-1 in that time frame. He's given up 5 home runs. The fastball arsenal, 50% usage. It says 95, but that's over the culmination of the whole season. The last 3 starts for him, he's been using his fastball less. There's been a dip in fastball velocity. There's one start, Drew, against the Dodgers. He threw the slider 62% of the time. He went back this week. He's been working with Steve Foster. We heard what Taylor was saying about him as well. I've already watched him throw in the bullpen. It's a different John Gray so far. I'm seeing somebody with intent with the fastball. He looks like he's finishing through it just based on his warm-up pitches. I like what I see right now.
Well, hopefully that plays out. So John will focus on Cesar Hernandez. And Hernandez, like a lot of the Phillies, likes to work counts. That's, you know, part of their new metrics in their front office. They're a team that sees a lot of pitches up and down the lineup. The first pitch, he came right after him, 95 with the fastball. And that's a good looking heater too. That may have been the slider actually. 0-2. John working in tandem with Tony Walters this evening. Pleasant night at Coors Field, 73 degrees. 0-2, and it's hit late and foul at 96. And you're onto something. We haven't seen 96 from him.
We were seeing 92s and 93s, and I'm just seeing a different mechanical release. How he was pitching in the bullpen is already starting to translate. How he took his first 8 warm-up pitches was all effort.
And another defensive swing at 97. Honestly, folks, I don't want to make too big a deal about this, but John had been 93, 94, and whatever correction that he has made, you're seeing big time velocity. Hernandez is battling away. But there were, kind of questions and murmurs. What happened to the, that big right arm? Almost pitching like a finesse guy last couple of starts. Well, Hernandez is doing his job. He keeps fouling pitches off. I've always liked this guy, and I thought they were underrated when Freddie Galvis was at short and Hernandez was at second. Good pitch, slider, and a strikeout. And that's another thing he wasn't accumulating a lot of. So a very nice start for John Gray.
Well, here is the numbers for you. Before he got sent down to the minor leagues, he had a strikeout per 9 at over 11. That's why many people in the advanced analytic world was wondering what the Rockies were doing sending a guy like John Gray down. Since he came back, that strikeouts dropped down to 7. 7, Drew. That's a 5 strikeout drop. That is significant.
It's enormous. Pitch at the top of the zone, not called a strike on the switch hitting slugger Carlos Santana. I had to look twice tonight, Spilly, when I saw him at third base. You just assume he's going to play first. But the last few weeks they've played him at third. And they're playing Rhys Hoskins at first. There's Gabe Kapler, the Rocky briefly back in 2003. There's a strike.
Well, the Phillies will do some interesting things tonight. They have all 40 men on their 40-man roster are here in Denver.
Everybody.
The whole thing.
And that's going to be a base hit to left field. Parra is up with the baseball and holds Santana to a single. Let's take a look at the Red Robin Rockies defensive alignment this evening. Parra, Blackman, and Dahl in the outfield. There's Trevor Story. So good to see him back in the lineup at short. And Tony Walters is handling John Gray tonight. So that'll bring up a dangerous guy, very streaky, but when he's hot, look out. It was Dubal Herrera. When the Rockies were in Philadelphia, Herrera was hot. Remember, he had that long streak of reaching, and the Phillies took 2 out of 3 from Colorado.
Well, he's in the middle of one of those cold streaks for him. In the last 19 games, he's hit 150. Well, you're right. When this guy gets his leg kick locked in and his approach, he can pull the baseball very well. But if he hits the ball opposite field, he's one of those hitters that reminds me a bit of Carlos Gonzalez. Once Cargo gets his timing locked in, he's hitting ball opposite field, he goes off.
And that's just a little bit outside also at 96. So it's 2-0 on Herrera. You thought the Dodgers had that full dugout. Dodgers have 39. And as you said, the Phillies have everybody, all 40.
21 pitchers on the roster.
And they use everybody, it seems like. And that misses, so it's 3-0. Two home runs for Herrera is a career high. Foul ball. Just in case, Desi will fire at the Story. The Phillies are 31-46 out on the road. Gabe Kapler was quoted after the loss yesterday, 2-1 in Atlanta. They got swept there. They've lost 4 straight. And that, officially eliminated them. He said, we're going to play our young players the rest of the way. That's a base hit to left. So 2 on here in the first with 1 out.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. Sooner rather than later. Talking to John Gray, he saw some pictures of himself when he was with the Oklahoma Sooners, his college photos, and loved how his leg kick was, loved his position, loved his aggressiveness, and said he wanted to get back to that. Notice this picture from the side where his base was. Oftentimes when you see a player looking through old pictures trying to remember what certain mechanics were, it almost clicks in your brain. I forgot I did that. I forgot that my foot went like that.
Rhys Hoskins at the plate. This is the most dangerous bat in the Phillies lineup. And he takes a strike. Hoskins has been scuffling in September, just a 203 average, but he still hit 5 home runs. He has hit 50 home runs now in his career. He's the 7th fastest player ever to 50 home runs. Number 1 on that list is a former Philly, Ryan Howard. AAA late last season with the Rockies. Good pitch. Yep, just off the corner, 1-1. I do like how John appears to be locked in. Now he's just got to find the zone a little bit more frequently.
We've seen this with Rocky starters all the time. The first inning takes them a little bit of time to find their command of their secondary pitches, and then they ratchet off a bunch of innings without giving up runs.
That was a slider. He really had like cutter movement.
Even though there's some traffic, I think Bud is pleased so far with how he's seen how aggressive John, at least on the mound presence wise, he looks different.
The presence and the intent are there. One, two, slider count. There's one, and DJ not going to be able to get Hoskins. Feed was off just a smidgen. So it's first and third, 2 outs, and that'll bring up catcher Ramos.
This is unfortunate for John and the Rockies because this is a tailor-made inning-ending double play. And off the side of the mound, this happens to pitchers sometimes when they're throwing the ball from the side of the mound. It's not a normal flat ground. It's basically like giving the Philadelphia Phillies an extra out to work with.
Tell you what, though, Hoskins surprised me. He got up the line pretty well. So Ramos, a former catcher with the Nationals, always been a good hitter. With Tampa earlier this year. And that pitch is low. .21 pitches in. Just for his mindset. So important here to get Ramos. Put this inning down. First and third. Mark Wegner says ball 2, 2-0. Mark Wegner behind home plate. John Tumpain's at first. Todd Tischner's at second. And Jim Reynolds, there's Jim at third. Good 2-1.
Good pitch, 2-0 count. Wilson Ramos looking for a pitch he can drive. Ramos 4-11 with runners in scoring position. That's the best in baseball. And this guy will hit the ball opposite field with authority. He's been known for his power opposite field.
3-1. That's a strike, 3-2. Not going to do much with that. That was very well located. So Hoskins will be moving at first. Desmond will play behind him. 3-2 on Wilson Ramos. And he lost him. Slider in the dirt. So now the bases are loaded for Aaron Altair.
Really wanted that double play ball so he could have ended it, and it would have saved at least 7 pitches so far.
Well, a bit of good news from Busch Stadium. Milwaukee with a run, so it's 1-0 Brew Crew over St. Louis. Of course, St. Louis swept the Giants over the weekend. Ryan Braun with a home run. Altair fires at the first pitch, 0-1. Remember when the Rockies saw Philadelphia last year? Altair was in a pretty good place. He's a very athletic kid, and he got off, Spilly, to a miserable start this year, and they had to send him out.
I really think highly of this kid after seeing and hearing how he works with the coaching staff, constantly asking, how do I get better?
That's a good looking pitch, and it's 0-2.
Actually surprised, just like you are, that he struggled as much. Now, oftentimes when you have a player like Altair who has this size, 6'4", 6'5" frame, there's a lot of holes in a swing when you're that tall.
Well, John will try to find one right here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's the 0-2. He's got it. So Gray works out of it. Big for the Rockies. Big for John Gray.
Give him a little howl. Ow!
It's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. We're going to start with Charlie Blackmon, who has a career-best 15-game hitting streak. He's the top guy offensively in terms of batting average in the National League in the month of September. 4 home runs, 6 doubles, 8 driven in, on 11 runs scored over the 15-game hitting streak. Of course, he continues to lead the National League in runs scored. 3 straight years he's eclipsed the 100-run mark. And I'm sure he's excited to see Zach Eflin, because he's faced Zach 5 times. He has 3 hits against him, and 2 were trots around the bases. Eflin faced the Rockies at Coors Field a couple of years ago and pitched very well here. 2 runs over 6 innings. He's coming off 2 pretty good performances against the Mets in Miami.
Yeah, he's only given up 1 earned run in the last 11 innings, and his stuff is good. Big, heavy fastball, slight dip in his arm angle, so it provides a different look. Big body, 6'6".
We were down there during batting practice today, as we customarily are. I'm telling you what, the Phillies have some big kids, man.
Well, they have more than everybody, so don't get in a brawl with these guys.
Yeah, they outnumber you. 1-1. And there's a slider.
Well, Eflin was obtained by the Philadelphia Phillies from the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 2014 when they traded Jimmy Rollins from the Phillies to the Dodgers.
He was part of another big trade. Here's the 1-2. And Tardy on the swing. And chasing a little bit was Charlie, so he's gone. One out, and that'll bring up DJ LeMahieu. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Buddy tonight. And I know it gave him great pleasure to draw Trevor Story, or write Trevor Story's name into the lineup. I don't think it was like drawing like a coloring book. Much neater than
like
that.
a menu at a breakfast place?
Yeah, nothing like that. Gerardo Parra, he'll be in the 6th hole. Ian Desmond 7, Tony Walters 8 in front of John Gray. Here's DJ at 279 facing Eflin. And that fastball on the inside corner for a strike. 3 straight multi-hit games for DJ in that series down in Arizona. Rockies outscored the Diamondbacks 13-3. And this is toward the gap in right center field if it gets down, but laying out and making the catch is Roman Quinn. Now, we heard about this young man's speed, and it was on display right there. He just outran the baseball.
I have never seen a center fielder catch a baseball where he did. He's already starting off in right center field because of DJ, and that's how the Phillies will shift. But look at where he's at. The distance he's going to have to cover. I mean, he's landing essentially where the 375 marker is in right field.
Spilly, I watched you and Sully, and you guys were really good. He's faster than both you guys.
Combined.
Yeah. Here's Dahl with 2 outs. And Dahl lifts this ball to deep right center field, but it's playable. Herrera, who used to be the center fielder until Quinn showed up last few weeks, makes the catch. So Eflin a 1-2-3 first.
Top of the second. Now, as Jeff Houston has been saying, with 7 games to go in the regular season, the Rockies just got to win, baby. But they do need some help from the other teams in the division, and that is the Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Francisco Giants. So how cute is this? The Seagulls of AT&T Park tweeting out, hey, Diamondback fans, I know we've had our differences in the past, but I believe we can come together over these next 6 games to beat LA, help keep the Dodgers out of the playoffs. Love the San Francisco Giants fans, and Rockies just keep winning. Now, it was talked about how Torey Lovullo and Bud Black had a conversation. Lovullo said he's going to do everything he can to help his team make the push for the playoffs, and that would start by beating this LA Dodgers in this 3-game series that they're currently in Phoenix, guys.
All right, Taylor, thanks very much. Interesting lineup, though, that Torey Luvello ran out there tonight. It's absent of Paul Goldschmidt and David Peralta. Now, Peralta, I sort of understand because they're going against Kershaw tonight, and I know Goldschmidt hasn't swung the bat well.
The last time the Diamondbacks did this, and people were teasing it. Listen, most of those guys were on the AAA roster, so it's a, hey, this AAA lineup. They won 9-0.
Yeah, that was against the Cubs. He's in the air to Parra in left. That will retire Scott Kingery, the shortstop. And they do everything different now in Philadelphia under Gabe Kapler. They're one of the clubs where the pitcher will bat 8th. So here comes Zach Eflin.
I've heard Tony La Russa talk about this because he would do it in St. Louis. And he said the only reason why you would ever have a pitcher batting 8th is if you wanted to get more traffic for some of your big hitters hitting 3rd and 4th. They did that with Albert Pujols. But you have to have somebody hitting 9th that can act as somebody that can get on base with some speed. And they have that in Quinn.
Yeah, he's a leadoff type guy. Switch hitting, speedster.
You wouldn't do it with a catcher. You wouldn't do it with a slower runner.
Eflin has a home run this year, so you got to throw up the caution sign. 1-2. John wants a quick inning because you always want a quick inning, and also because he threw 30 pitches in the first frame. And Eflin has to go away. That is strikeout number 3 tonight already for John. That'll bring up Roman Quinn, former 2nd-round pick. He's out of Point St. Joe High School in Florida. Fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, your comments, your photos, perhaps. Use Twitter. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. And a first pitch strike on Roman Quinn. Got to shorten up in the infield a little bit. I'm looking where Trevor is, and he is 3 or 4 steps on the dirt, which you ordinarily would not be. They say he has Billy Hamilton-like speed.
I think people eventually are going to say, I think he has Trevor Story type speed.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor's in that conversation now. That last strikeout by Gray. 515 now in his Rockies career. Just past Jhoulys Chacín for 7th on the all-time Colorado list. Looking for another one here. 1-2 on Quinn. And he didn't bite on the slider. Quinn was a terrific high school shortstop. He committed to play at Florida State, went in the 2nd round, and going to 2nd round, usually there's enough money involved that you're really going to have to pause and think about it. Became a switch hitter in pro ball.
I'm talking to Tom McCarthy and John Kruk next door in the broadcast booth of the Phillies. He said Quinn was also an excellent receiver as a football player in high school.
Well, if you run like this young man and you grow up in the Southeast, there's Tommy Mack on the right and Crocker on the left, you have to play football. You're not allowed not to. And John misses there, so his 2nd walk. And now you got to worry about him running with Cesar Hernandez coming up, and you know Hernandez is going to give him ample opportunity. The way this was originally mapped out by Buddy, John was going to pitch tomorrow night against the Phils, and Tyler Anderson was going to go tonight on his normal rest. Tyler has a sore shoulder, so he has been kind of pushed back indefinitely. Pretty good move. Wow, that was close. John gave him the B move initially, and then look at this, quick feet. Who's out? He may be out. They're going to go take a look at it. Look at the tag on the helmet. Watch the right glove. Freeze.
Yep, they got him.
He's out.
And he gets a headache.
Like having a baseball bang off the back of your helmet.
Yeah, you love adding insult to injury or injury to insult, it whichever way you want to do it.
I think you can tell on that angle the previous angle is pretty clear. Gerardo Parra is already marching toward the dugout. He's seen it on the Rockies' vision. He's convinced. Roman Quinn,
I think he just realized,
said, "Oh, this may not turn out well."
Well, I'm reading a story about how Quinn ended up his football career. He was a junior in high school, and he got hit trying to catch a pass down the middle. And it was a safety that ended up playing football in the NFL for 3 years.
There's the official out call from home plate umpire Mark Wegner. So John walks Roman Quinn and then promptly picks him off. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Nolan will lead it off. We're scoreless. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Did not happen on the road trip. It needs to happen frequently this week. Back at home, Rockies in their last homestand, 10 ball games, went 7-3, scored 63 runs. That's a strike. 1-1 on Nolan. Nolan just a 171 batting average on the trip, but he hit 2 balls very hard yesterday. Rewarded for the second, an RBI double in the Rockies' 2-0 win in Arizona. 1 out. Here comes Trevor. Trevor told me this afternoon, because you know how much this kid loves to play, and he never comes out of the lineup. I said, this last week must have been torture for you. And he said, it felt like a month.
Yeah. When a guy goes on the 10-day disabled list during the season, even when it was in the past, the disabled list anytime you're on it, even though it was not for as long as you think, it felt like you were gone forever. And as a teammate, when you're not playing and you can't be on the field, you can't contribute, you feel worthless. You feel like you have no spot with the team.
Foul fouled off 1-2. And he did a lot of work the last couple of days. In fact, today, by the time he hit on the field, it was the third time that he had hit today. He was here early. He was hitting underneath. He was hitting the last couple of days off the pitching machine, so he was seeing velocity. And you would know better than anybody, Spilly. It's so hard to hit anyhow at any level, but particularly the best level in the world. And you take a week off from a timing standpoint, it's not easy just to jump right back in.
It's not easy to jump right back in, but sometimes it works to your benefit because it's a reset. You just look for the baseball.
Well, that's smoke to center field. And Story is heading towards second. Trevor in with a double. You know what? You can take a week off anytime you want. You just step right back in there and you rip the baseball. Timing? What? That looked pretty good.
You don't have to worry about all the mechanics of your swing if you've been out for a couple days. This is just a bad slider, middle portion of the plate. And on the Subaru Super Mode, Trevor shortens up. You're not worried about your hands. You're not worried about your feet. You're just worried about making sure you see a baseball.
One out, one on, and Gerardo Parra's up. Talk about a guy who's delivered a number of clutch hits. He lays down a bunt, and it's going to go foul. And I know what Gerardo's thinking there. You have a first baseman playing third, and by all indications, Carlos Santana's done, just fine over at third base, but he hadn't been there in a while. And when I say hasn't been there in a while, I mean consistently. Playing there a little bit here in September for Gabe Kapler. Parra owns a home run against Eflin. 2 for 3. Outside, a ball and a strike.
Majority of the games that Santana has played has either been first base, catcher, or DH. He's only had 38 games, 35 games as a third baseman.
And before, recently, it was 2014. Good eye, just beneath the knees, 2-1. Mark Wegner's been pretty consistent. That low pitch, if it's just below the Subaru strike zone, he's not been calling it, nor should he. It's a ball. Three and one. Desmond's on deck. One-out double by Story. No score as the Rockies bat here in the second. Three and two, and then Parr is going to look back and check with Mark Wegner. Was that a strike I swung at? Mark said yes, it was.
Well, it looks like Gerardo was looking for a pitch in because his body was spinning out. And anytime you see a hitter turn around and ask an umpire where it is, especially if it's on the outside portion of the plate, it's such a good reminder that your front shoulder is pulling out. Because you'll be able to see a pitch on the outside corner if your shoulder and your hips are staying in.
And ball four. That was outside. And now they're 2 on and 1 out for Ian Desmond. Story, the double, came off his bat at 110 miles an hour. Desmond 2 for 9 in the Arizona series, but drove in 3 runs, also walked 4 times. And this is in the air to right field. Herrera is going to have room, tagging his Story. It's actually in foul ground, and Trevor will move up 90 feet. So it'll be first and third for Tony Walters. Tony's seen Eflin a couple times, 0 for 2. Last month, Tony's hitting a very solid 281. In fact, it's a little better than that over his last 11 starts. He's at 290. That's a strike, 1-1. I don't know if anybody works harder day to day than catchers.
No,
It's not even close. Right.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that's probably working harder than the catcher is the bullpen catcher. Aaron Munoz is probably the hardest working person in any sort of uniform, in any sort of Rockies uniform.
Slide down the left field line, just foul. We were talking about Mooney about a week ago on the air. In fact, I teased him today. I said, "Did your text line blow up?" I said, "If you didn't, you don't have any friends." Huey and I talked about all that he does. Throws BP, catches bullpen sessions. He throws, he'll do flips for hitters earlier in the day. He sets up the bullpen. 1-2. Good take. Slow, 3-2. You think back to spring training. Catchers, they'll catch a multitude of bullpens. They have to learn pitchers. They have to, you need enough bodies to catch all the pitchers. And then by the time you go hit, they're probably exhausted.
They really, it's not just they're not as good a hitter because of
ball 4.
Because of their legs and catching, being in the squat position. They can't hit it as well as other guys because they're physically exhausted, and your swing starts from your legs, so you can't swing the bat as often. There's just too much.
Yeah. Well, Big John has thrown out some big hits in his time. Last start at Coors Field, he had a booming double. That would work nicely here. The outfield's come way in. That may be a mistake. Chop to third. Santana will throw to Hoskins to end the threat. So the Rockies leave them loaded in the second inning. We're still scoreless as we go to the third. liquid, timeless moment. Let's flash back. The Rockies in '95 advanced to the postseason for the first time. And this, I don't think anybody will ever forget. Matt Holliday slapping home plate right in the middle, as I recall. And it was Frankie Morales on the mound in 2009 when the Rockies clinched. And how about last year? The Rockies found out they clinched before they actually took the field when Milwaukee went down. The Rockies hoping for a celebration at some point this week. Again, a game and a half behind the Dodgers in the West, a game and a half behind St. Louis in the wild card. It's now 1-1. St. Louis has scored after the early home run by Ryan Braun. They're in the 4th inning at Busch Stadium. Huge series there. Milwaukee and St. Louis. And then, of course, St. Louis has to play the Cubs. The Giants, excuse me, the Arizona and the Dodgers. They'll get going in a little while. Cesar Hernandez will lead things off for the Phillies. He was at the plate when Roman Quinn was picked off by John Gray. First pitch, a breaking ball, misses. 1-0. And this is line to center field, a base hit for Hernandez, who's their leading hitter out on the road. So here comes Santana.
Well, Hernandez is also their leading base stealer, 19 on the season. Let's see what the Phillies try to do. See if they're willing to try to create some runs. It's not a team that typically steals a lot of bases.
And strike one on Hernandez. Or excuse me, strike one on Santana with Hernandez at first. Carlos has hit some home runs, 23 this year, but the batting average down around 229. That's a strike.
So I found some interesting numbers about the Philadelphia Phillies offense. 27th worst batting average in baseball, 236. But what's remarkable too, since we're looking at how many pitches they take per plate appearance, 198 batting average against off speed. That's 30th in baseball.
We're not very good. Gabe Kapler is nothing if not unconventional. I mean, you've seen from afar him pull a starter after 3 innings, even if he's doing reasonably well. We've heard him flip out with a not literally flip out, but flip out hit some guys for defensive players in the middle of the game up just a run. You normally see that 7th, 8th inning, not in the 4th. He's done that. He's done a lot of things differently. Here's the 1-2. Just outside, 2-2.
I've heard Matt Klentak, that's the Phillies general manager, talk about this season. It was a bit of an experiment. They wanted to try different ways to rethink the game, whether that's using bullpen arms differently, whether it's pulling out position players early in the game. And they said they're going to reassess at the end of this year. Some of the actions they worked, some of them didn't. And if you consider that they had 66 wins last year, Gabe Kapler comes in with that idea to bring in a new flavor. August 5th, less than about a month ago, they were 15 games over 500.
They were in first place in the East.
Well, that second half record, they're 25 and 35, 10 games under.
2-2. And this is a double play ball. There's one, and the throw to first. Plenty on it from Story, despite the elbow issue.
That's 151 double plays now for the Rockies. That's one behind the Giants for the NL best. Would have had one earlier in the first inning. It had not been for a little bit of an inaccurate throw from John Gray, but DJ, his trusty old friend Trevor Story, turning another one.
Sound mechanics on both ends. Big swing and a miss from Asdrubal Herrera.
Did you notice how Trevor threw the ball to first overhand? We're going to see that a lot over the next couple days. We're used to seeing Trevor throw from different arm angles. He's going to throw it straight over the top.
Tony sets up away, and the fastball is too far away, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a foul ball. That got John Payne. He's acting like, hey, no big deal.
No big deal.
Watch this.
Well, just chases him.
I mean, it got him flush.
Ouch.
John, I know you're not playing and
some
such.
dirt on
You can rub, man. John can get a slider here to get the punch out. He did. Good inning by Big John Gray after the base hit from Hernandez. Got a double play ball and then strikes out Herrera. Charlie will lead it off as we go to the bottom of the 3rd.
Season against the Washington Nationals, September 28th through the 30th this weekend. Purchase your tickets at Rockies.com. So between innings, Scotty Garrett came out and took a look at Jonathan Payne's left arm. It was 114 miles an hour off the bat of Asdrubal Herrera. Payne shook it off like it was nothing.
Tough guy. He got smoked.
He got hit really hard.
And Scotty Garrett came out in between innings, and he's okay. Here's Charlie with the 1 ball count. Charlie struck out swinging his first time up. So the Rockies hit 1 home run on the road trip, as hard as that is to believe. It was Charlie Blackmon against Clayton Kershaw last Tuesday night. The only other time the Rockies had 1 home run in a 9-game stretch was back in 2007. Wouldn't you figure? It was back in April, cold weather, and the Rockies hit only 1 home run that year. I think it was you, Spilly. I have no idea, but I'm going to give you credit for it.
That'd be awesome.
All right. They've never gone a 10-game stretch. There's a base hit to right. So never a 10-game stretch with just 1 home run.
Now, granted, the weather in San Francisco and the hitting conditions on the first leg of that road trip were not ideal. And I'm not making an excuse for the Rockies hitters at all. But there were some balls hit over the course of those 3 days where it was exit velocities well in the upper hundreds, where it could have been home runs at Coors Field or any other place, but they were outs. And that's what happens at AT&T Ballpark. Now, Dodger Stadium in Arizona, no excuses.
No excuses. Dodgers hit home runs. Rockies, unfortunately, did not. DJ robbed of extra bases on a diving catch in right center field by Roman Quinn, his first time up. And by the way, with that base hit for Chuck Nasty, the hitting streak grows to 16 games, the longest not only of his career, it's currently the longest in Major League Baseball. Boy, he got warm at the right time of year, didn't he?
Right in time.
DJ shows bunt. You can tell that's in Dwayne Espy and Jeff Salazar's playbook tonight. Once they noticed that Santana was playing third, we documented how little experience he has there.
Well, you have to take advantage of it. I want to see what happens. What does a barehanded play throwing across your body look like?
Exactly.
He had a nice easy hop last inning from John Gray, but that's not
indicative of anything.
Exactly. That's an easy play. You could have made that play, Drew. I could have made that play.
Well, here's a play you didn't make, and sadly I have to report this. Because Dougie, I've never seen him scramble quicker on his computer when I said I'm giving you credit for the 1 home run that the Rockies hit in that 9-game stretch back in 07. I said I'm good going with that, right? We don't know who's going to look it up, right? Doug. He wanted to pour you know what in your Wheaties, right? Steve Finley. That was like the only home run Steve Finley hit in a Rockies uniform.
I was in the minor leagues at that time then.
So you couldn't have participated.
No, I was probably in Fresno taking it out on the Grizzlies.
1-1 on LeMahieu. Ground ball toward the hole. It's going to sneak through. Charlie will pause at second base. And the table setters, they were really good in Arizona reaching. And now both are aboard here with nobody out in the third.
Here's a little bit of an opportunity for us to see Carlos Santana make a play at third base. A little hanging slider. Santana basically runs across. We've seen Nolan so many times. You take that sharp angle more towards left center field. Give yourself some space, and that's not the angle that Carlos took.
Now here's Dahl. Hit a towering fly ball to right center his first time. Outside ball 1. In this situation yesterday, and I wouldn't advocate it now, he tried to bunt early in the game. Not at Coors Field though for me. I know you. Here you go. I love setting you up for these. First and second, nobody out bunt.
It just depends on the situation, obviously. For me, and I've said this so many times, the most important run of the game at any point, 0-0, the team that scores first wins more. It's about a 70% rate.
Rockies 50-16 when they score first, to your point. And David's behind now 1-2. I mean, that's huge. 50-16.
And it doesn't say that when the Rockies score 2 or more. It doesn't say when the Rockies score 3. It just says when the Rockies score first.
That's a winning percentage of basically 76% of the time this year. Rockies score first, they shake hands. 1-2. Dahl goes down, so Nolan will come up. Take a look at the Red Robin defensive line. We hadn't had an opportunity to do that for the Phillies. Aaron Alter's a terrific outfielder. He's in left field tonight. He's only been there 3 times this year. He's normally played a lot of right and a little bit of center. And Scott Kingery's a second baseman by trade. Remember a couple years ago in the minor leagues, he had 30 home runs. They've made him a shortstop, and he's done nicely. Line drive, center field. That'll drop. Here comes Chuck Nasty with run number 1. DJ goes first to third. You know what the Rockies are when they score first this year?
50 and 17.
16.
No, that's what it was. Close enough.
Close enough. Broken bat single. RBI number 104 for Nolan. 1-0 Colorado.
Eflin throwing what looks like the slider again, down and away. Nolan in a much better spot because his legs are underneath him. He's now able to get his bat to a pitch that's off the plate.
The best piece of base running in this situation was obviously not just Charlie scoring. It was DJ going first to third. Now with Trevor up, a productive out, and you have a second run. Story with a blistering double to center field in his first at bat in a week. One and one. That double was the 79th extra base hit this year for Trevor Story. It's the 9th most in terms of extra base hits ever by a National League shortstop.
It's incredible.
The records by a former Philly MVP.
Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins. J-Roll with 88 back in 2007 when he was the MVP, and the Rockies took the Phillies out in round 1. Shocked the city of brotherly love.
This is always a philosophy as a hitter, what to do. First and third, they're trying to throw inside. You can see where the Subaru strike zone is. They're trying to get Trevor to either commit to that pitch, pull it so you can basically hit it to Carlos Santana, prevent yourself from scoring, or try to inside out.
Here's the thing, though, even if Trevor hits it on the ground, hard man to double.
Yeah, his legs are fine.
2-2. And now it'll take a 2-out hit. Gerardo Parra will come up. Third strikeout by Zach Eflin.
Well, that's a really well executed 2-2 changeup to Trevor Story after showing fastball in, pounding him inside underneath his hands, and then being able to pull the string. You don't want to tip the cap, but that was a perfect pitch sequence.
Parra worked the walk his first time up. Right man for the situation. DJ is at third, Nolan at first. 1-0 Colorado. Base hit center field. Make it 2-0. Nolan's going to go first to third. Gets away for a moment, but not far enough. Eflin in the right spot. How many big clutch hits, whether it's in a starter's role or off the bench as a pinch hitter, has Parra come through with in the second half?
A lot, Drew. It's been a lot in this last 2 weeks. There's a reason why Parra's playing over Carlos Gonzalez. He's been taking far more quality at bats of late. This is huge. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. The Rockies have been struggling with runners in scoring position over the last 10 games. And it's been Gerardo's at bats, those quality bats from a pinch hit at bat, what, 3 days ago? That started a big rally against Arizona on Saturday. To some walks that he's taken, and even this at bat tonight.
Yeah, I saw that question on Twitter. Somebody wanted to know, why hasn't Cargo been playing? And, Cargo, unfortunately, he's working hard. He's been taking extra BP before ball games and early in the afternoon. And talking to Buddy, there's a good chance he'll be in the starting lineup tomorrow. But he's been scuffling, and David Dahl's been swinging the bat well. The point you just made, Spilly, Parr's swinging the bat well. Charlie's going to play, and that's why you haven't seen a Cargo as much of late. Here's Ian Desmond. Outside, ball 1. This is another one of those deals with Gabe Kapler and the unconventional. I mean, Eflin's pitched fine. He's now given up a couple of markers. You could see him go to his bullpen after this inning. Fouled off. Kapler, who has the distinction of being in better shape than any player in baseball.
Well, I know, talking to some of the Phillies guys, Kapler was telling his team, listen, I know we've had a really tough, rough second half, but we want to finish above the Nationals, and we need to finish above 500. There's a lot at stake in that clubhouse, according to Gabe Kapler.
Good take, 2-1. You're talking about Philadelphia and how they operate. They have 72 pitchers in their bullpen, and Austin Davis is now up. Three and 1 now for Ian. On the inside corner, 3-2. Understand Kapler's feeling on finishing above 500. There's just something certainly about that. That's inside, ball 4, especially when you're coming off a 96 loss season. When you look back and you see 82 victories. Okay.
Oh, you don't want to finish under 500 when
you've been 15 over.
15 games over.
With less than 2 months to play. So they're loaded up for Tony Walters, who walked his first time. And that's what we're talking about. Zach Eflin in the 3rd inning is going to have to hand the baseball to his manager after 54 pitches. 2-0 Rockies. Rockies have a 2-0 lead. They have the bases loaded, 2 outs. And now the lefty Austin Davis on for Zach Eflin to face Tony Walters. And Tony takes a strike. 30th appearance for Davis.
So normally we try to study as much as we can to know every single player on the roster. I'm telling you right now, over the next 4 days, I will be going to the media guide often.
Early and often. And that's a called strike also. 2 strikes on Tony.
Well, just consider this too, Drew. What does a hitter's meeting look like when you have the Philadelphia Phillies in town in September?
You got to go over every pitcher. It used to be, you know, the guys in the bullpen you visit real quick with the hitting coaches. You're in the on-deck circle outside. But this is how the Phillies have operated. They pull their starter early. They pull guys out early. The unconventional is commonplace and has been all year with Gabe Kapler. And it's not a knock. It's just different. It's different than what most people are accustomed to.
This is closer.
2-2.
Tampa Bay Rays are doing something similar. I mean, there's cost savings at stake when you consider using bullpen arms consistently. There's also, it's difficult on a hitter when you're seeing multiple relievers over the course of a game.
What's interesting is they brought this kid in against righties. Righties are hitting him at 209. Lefties are hitting him, Spilly, at a 309 clip.
Now you're talking about losing confidence too for the players that are there.
You're probably going to have some agents in the offseason, especially of pitchers, not happy. And it's 3-2. With 2 quick strikes, and now Tony has worked it full. And there's nowhere to put him. Here comes the crowd now.
Austin Davis was a 12th rounder out of Cal State Bakersfield back in 2014.
3-2. Ball 4. And another run comes home. Great at bat from Walters. Tony's done that off the top of my head at least 3 or 4 times this year. I know he had a walk-off walk earlier this year.
Well, I just like that he doesn't panic. Quickly he gets down 0-2. We'll do a pitch by pitch with this at bat. First chance to see where his arm angle was, get a feel for what the mechanics look like. Sees another slider away. Like Davis, that's all he wanted to do was try to put him away with a slider and off-speed pitch, and Tony doesn't bite.
And now John Gray, as we flash back live, takes a pitch way out of the zone, ball 1. And this guy's not overpowering. And so for a starting pitcher who, you know, they don't get a ton of swings, John gets something around 90 miles an hour. He could do some damage. 2-0. That was, in fact, Tony's 4th bases loaded walk this year. And, you know, listen, Tony's nowhere near 500 at bats. Good stuff. 2-0. 3-0. John, look up here. Spilly's going to give you the take sign. You can look at Stu Cole. You can look at Buddy Black. You can look anywhere you want.
No, don't look up here. I just gave him the swing sign.
3-1. I'm telling you what, the outfield's too shallow. Ball 4, Gray walks, make it 4-0. This has not worked out well for Gabe Kapler. And now you have Blackman coming up.
Well, it's working out extremely well for the Rockies. It's now 3 consecutive at-bats with a walk. you're hoping that Charlie Blackman can just blow this thing open right here in the third inning.
Yeah, you could blow the top off this thing right here. And Charlie started the inning off with a base hit. Came around to score. Got some water. Chatted up with his buddies on the bench. Now he's back in the batter's box. Calisthenics going on. Or Spilotti's class, one or the other.
That was great. Thank you to all the fans that showed up in Arizona in that section 332.
You and Stacy are going to have to buy a lot more Christmas cards this year.
I know, it was awesome. All my cousins popped out.
Outside, 1-1. Ton of room in the right center field gap. Roman Quinn shading Charlie toward left center. Bases loaded, 4-0. Home run hack. 1-2. That was to try to double the score. One and two on Charlie. Good job of letting the ball travel, and wasn't sure. Borderline pitch. That was Helton-esque, wasn't it?
Well, what makes it great is for Charlie, that gets logged into his mind. If that's his best secondary pitch and I just spoiled it, I'm not worried about it anymore. Now it becomes, if there's a fastball that he's going to try to challenge me, I've already fouled that one off. I'm pretty sure my timing's locked in for that fastball. For Charlie, it's just going to be make sure you get a strike. If it's a strike, you're going to hit it.
Desmond at third, Walters at second, Gray at first. And this skips past the catcher, Ramos, and Desmond comes home. 5-0. Talk about a disastrous inning. And for Davis in particular, 2 walks and now a wild pitch.
Well, this inning is not what Gabe Kapler wants to see from his group. If you're trying to make sure you keep your record over 500, this inning is not proof that the Phillies will be able to do that. That's 18 pass balls now for the Phillies. Well, this one's a wild pitch.
2-2. And Charlie goes down. But the Rockies cross home plate 5 times in the third. Right where you want to be.
Oakland Rockies coming off a sweep in Arizona, and we want to know who had the most impressive start down in Phoenix. Was it German Marquez with 11 strikeouts on Friday? Antonio Zenzatella, who took a perfect game into the 5th inning, gave up just 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched? Or Mr. Kyle Freeland himself, 7 scoreless innings. Guys, I gotta go with Antonio Zenzatella. We have seen several impressive starts from German and Kyle, but it's cool to see Antonio really step up over the course of the last few weeks and join German and Kyle by making an elite push to the playoffs, guys.
Yeah, you can take any one of the three, and Senz has really stepped forward. This young man's season has been brilliant. 7 more shutout innings yesterday. And German Marquez's numbers the last 11 starts are right there with Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom.
Funny you bring up Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom. Sports Illustrated ran an article today talking about Kyle Freeland, how he needs to get more national attention. It's about time. Welcome to the party, Sports Illustrated. Thank you. It is such a double standard when you have a pitcher that is pitching here and has an ERA
below 2.3.
Below 2.3. I mean, somebody's going to look at Trevor Story's stats and Nolan's stats and say, hey, they were a byproduct of Coors Field. Okay, take that stance. We've seen that against Larry Walker. We've seen it against other people. Then you better put a pitcher like Kyle Freeland on a pedestal.
Never heard it mentioned the other way. It's patently unfair. 0-1 on Rhys Hoskins. 4, 5, and 6. And this is in the air to shallow center, and Charlie will run it down. Spill, you've been out there, you and Sully, a ton of times. That's a big, strong guy with a big swing. That's an easy ball to misread, isn't it?
It is, but you have to, and you've heard me talk about this, as an outfielder, you can hear the sound of the bat, whether it's squared up or whether you hear the bat break. And that one, you have to trust your senses, because your senses tell you big swing, not the sound off the bat.
There's Wilson Ramos. Walked his first time, and he's going to bounce to second. 2 quick outs. Here's the thing, when you play the schedule game down the stretch, and we keep, showing you the matchups. The last few weeks we've done that. And you go, oh, well, this team's out of it. This team's below 5. But you never know based on, young guy pitching, throws a great ball game. It's baseball, right? One thing that's fairly consistent, and you know this to be true, when you get to the final 10 days, a week, and guys are getting ready to go on vacation, they're going to give it the good old college try for a few innings. And if they're not in it, a lot of times, not across the board, the intensity and the body language kind of changes to, all right, let's get this thing done. I'm not saying you don't try. You obviously always try. But you know what I'm talking about.
There's no question. The competitive fire for a group of guys when nothing's on the line anymore other than personal accolades, whether it's salary drives, it becomes a selfish ball game for a team that's out of it.
And that's why, remember we were talking about MVP candidacy the other night, and they're sabermetric folks who say it should not matter. You can be on the last place team, but if your numbers suggest you're an MVP, then you should be the MVP. And my argument, 1, 2, and that's strike 3, is that the at-bats, and you know this from playing, the at-bats are different when they're pressure at-bats for a couple months versus, hey, we're going to win 68 games and go home.
No question. When the game's on the line, you want your big players to pitch big.
Rockies up 5-0, 7-pitch inning. 4 innings as well. Now the Rockies will see another new arm. This is Yaxel Rios, making his 34th appearance. He came up from Lehigh Valley on September 1st. He's been back and forth 6 times this year.
That's a lot of times. Well, they like his arm. Big fastball, can touch 98 miles an hour. Not a high walk rate. So he'll pitch to contact. He'll challenge these Rockies hitters.
You know, it's one thing to go back and forth 6 times, which is a ton in a single season. He's gone back and forth 6 times, all since July the 26th.
Now that's a lot.
That's a lot. 1-0 on DJ outside, 2-0. DJ, a line drive to right center in which Roman Quinn laid out, made a beautiful catch on. And then DJ bounced one through the left side, so he's 1 for 2. 7 hits in the last 3 1/3 ball games. The Rockies obviously really stumbled their way through the first 2 cities of that 3-city trip, but with the sweep of Arizona, they salvaged it with a 4-5 record. The Dodgers scored a run early in the top of the 1st against Arizona on a David Freese base hit, but Arizona has scored a run in the bottom of the 1st to tie it. Milwaukee's taken a 2-1 lead in St. Louis. We'll keep you abreast of those 2 ball games throughout our evening. 2-2.
I joke about this all the time. It's the portion of the season where you find yourself rooting for teams you would never root for. I'm going to be a huge Giants fan this weekend. I'm a huge Diamondbacks fan right now.
Absolutely.
Cheer for the Brewers.
Outside. What's a lot of universities have this theme. You know, they're fans of, you know, like Michigan fans, fans of the Maize and Blue and anybody playing the Buckeyes, right? Well, I think in the NL West, you're always a fan of your team and anybody playing the Dodgers.
That's right.
Especially now. 3-2. Look at DJ taking care of the folks in the upper deck twice and 1 at bat.
We're going to be Cubs fans this weekend, too. Cubs and Cardinals finishing off the season, depending on where the Cardinals are at.
Right now, we're Craig Counsell and Brew Crew friends. Another 3-2. And that's ball 4. So the Rockies just keep taking pitches and earning free trips around the bases. There have been 2 runners walked in already. 2 runs already walked in as we go downstairs again, visit with Taylor.
Yeah, I was just laughing when you guys were talking about being fans of teams you're not normally fans of. I think of the Rockies Twitter page. In their bio, it reads, fan of the Gasps, Brewers, and Scratches Head Diamondbacks. Again, going back to anybody who's playing the Cardinals or Dodgers at this time of year.
This ball is well hit to left field. Altair going back, and it is it gone?
I think it's gone.
I think it is gone. It went over the fence, and Altair's still down. 2-run opposite field home run, David Dahl.
Altair may have really hurt himself. He's a big body. And
he ran full speed, basically, tracking the baseball right into the wall. This gives you an idea how strong David is, too, with that whippy bat of his.
Yeah, 95 miles an hour away from him. Look out. Wow.
Do you know what that reminded me of?
Butch Husky?
I don't remember the Butch Husky one, but another Philly. Aaron Rowan. Remember when he ran full speed and he broke his nose because he hit one of those posts.
Yeah, but Rowan caught it.
You're right. Rowan did catch it, but Altair ran full tilt, and you're a trainer. Let's see Keith Duggar and Scotty Garrett looking on. Very concerned. I mean, he's been down now for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, normally you'll see teammates kind of smiling. He walks it off. This one's scary. This one could be a broken nose, concussion.
He also obviously hurt his leg.
And he ran full speed into that wall. And they're just going to walk him straight off the field.
Yeah, there's a golf cart down there. There's our man Glenn, who handles security here at Coors Field. They're just going to park him on that, and they'll take him around to the clubhouse the back way. But, you know, give Altair credit, man. He's like, I don't care, there's a wall there, and as soon as you hit dirt, what did you always figure? You had 2 strides, Billy?
Maybe 2 strides. That is scary.
So David Dahl with his 11th home run of the year. And guess what? Tacos for everybody. Rockies have arrived at a number they haven't seen in a while, 7. And it's just their 2nd home run in their last 10 ball games. Make your way to participating Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. That also could have been one of those deals, as David was running hard out of the box, because you're thinking where he hit it, you know, maybe extra bases. He may have produced an inside the park home run.
Well, Quinn was nowhere near left field. That's the center fielder. Jose Bautista coming in now. Odubel Herrera will move to left field.
There's Joey Bats in right field. How many teams has he played for this year? Has he played for like 11
I think
teams
he's played
this year?
for 3 different teams. He played for the Mets,
the Braves,
and the Phillies.
And did he somewhat? Well, he was with Toronto, but wasn't re-signed by Toronto.
Correct. Let's take a look at David Dahl's home run. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. Off the bat, 97 miles an hour, 32-degree launch angle. And it'd be way more fun to celebrate that home run if it wasn't for Aaron Altair hurting himself on that play.
Nobody out. And now Nolan up. And that fastball is high, ball 1 from Yancel Rios. Rios threw a complete other bullpen session while they were tending to Altair. Spins it for a strike, 1-1. Misses with the breaking ball there, 2-1. That home run by David was the Rockies' 100th home run this year at home. Their club record's 149 at Coors Field back in '96. Ground ball to Kingery at short. One gone in the Rockies half of the 4th, and that'll bring up Trevor Story. You know, it'd be interesting to see how Buddy plays this, Spilly. If you get to, say, the 7th inning, and the Rockies have a sizable lead, which they clearly do right now. First game back, we know about the elbow. If you throw a Valaika or Hampson in there for the remainder of the ball game, just to, you know, ease Trevor back, almost as if, you know, if he was in Albuquerque on a rehab, you know, you go 5-7 innings, then you go, you know, 9 maybe, but it's not immediate out of the gate. Granted, this is now September 24th. There is no tomorrow, but if you have a large lead, Buddy may do that.
I would hope so, because this time of the season, these guys are dragging. It's hard on your body. And it's hard mentally. I mean, these guys are trying to win every single game, pitch by pitch. It ratchets it up a bit, and it's not just for Trevor. It'll be for Nolan, for DJ, for Charlie. 2-3 innings. If you can build up that lead where you're comfortable.
This ball is smoked to center field. This could be another double for Story, and it will be. Almost in the exact same spot. And I guarantee you that came off the bat at close to 110 miles an hour like his first double did.
It's good to see that Trevor hasn't missed a beat. 107 miles an hour off the bat. I'll round it up. I'll make it 108. The Subaru Supermo. You're in a good place when you're lining the baseball right up the middle.
I think you touched on it earlier. I think you made a wonderful point, Billy. And you know this from experience. As Parra steps in, he takes a strike. Is that you come back and you're not trying to do too much for two reasons. You've been out, and the other thing is you know, there's probably discomfort in there when you swing at 100%. And what you learn is, what he learned earlier this year, 85%, as strong as he is pretty darn good.
It's just a friendly reminder. It's why when we see guys have wrist injuries, the wrist injuries, as soon as they start feeling comfortable, they start hitting the baseball better. Remember, Troy Tulowitzki went through it. He had that amazing September where he hit more homers than Babe Ruth.
15 that year.
Seen it now with DJ this season. Well, you're not going to be happy that the Brewers just relinquished the lead to the St. Louis Cardinals. 2 homers in the inning, and now the Cardinals have the lead 4-3.
They do that against Josh Hader. I think Hader had given up a hit all year. Parra walking an RBI single. And this is lobbed down toward shallow center. It'll drive in another run. Kingery backed off at the last instant. Not sure if he could have made the catch or not, but it certainly looked like he had an opportunity to, and then he just let it go. The replay, I think, will tell more. The Rockies now have an 8-0 lead. Watch Kingery. And no, he couldn't get there.
No, he wasn't going to get to that baseball. Good read from Trevor Story off the label of the bat for Gerardo. 2 for 2 now for Gerardo. Both hits coming with runners in scoring position.
And Desmond up. Good to be back home, huh?
Well, they just called a balk too. Yeah, everything's in the Rockies' favor.
Wow. The Phillies may get run ruled here.
Always nervous. Yeah, I'd like seeing it expand, but you always try not to be too gloaty on one of these things because baseball switches in such a hurry. But yeah, this is great. I'd like to be able to sit back and put my boots up.
The reason the Cardinals went in front, Marcell Ozuna, a 2-run home run. He's kind of picked it up in the second half. How about the former Miami triumvirate of outfielders? Stanton had a nice year in New York, the Yankees. Yelich could very well be the MVP of the National League. And Marcell Ozuna with the Cardinals. 2 strikes on Desmond.
It's clearly the best outfield in baseball, offensively and defensively. And they gave it away.
Rios ready. 0-2 on Desmond. And Desmond bounces it to short. Kingery throws him out. Parra to third, and that'll bring up Tony Walters. He's walked twice. His last walk came with the bases loaded, and for the 4th time this year, he drew a bases loaded walk. It's pretty good when you're hitting 8th in the lineup, and in the 4th inning, you're getting your 3rd at bat. Aaron Luke, who just came off the disabled list, is now throwing in the Phillies' pen. Now with the Rockies playing a late game, certainly Arizona and the Dodgers are also. That's inside. But the Dodgers, they're looking up at the scoreboard and they're saying, well, that doesn't look good for us, with the Rockies up 8-0 in the 4th. The Cardinals doing the same thing. The Cardinals lead it now 4-3 in the 6th. Three balls and a strike on Walters. Parra at third. And Tony, 3 plate appearances, 3 walks. And here comes John Gray. Back to February, Spilly. John came into camp this year and he had noticeably lost about 15 pounds or so. Maybe down another 5 pounds since spring training.
My guess is he's around 210 pounds.
Yeah, I was going to say somewhere south at 220. We'll ask him, but I bet she's down from a couple of years ago, close to 30 pounds. Two strikes. So Gray strikes out. The Rockies get 3 more runs. The highlight of the inning, David Dahl going opposite field for his 11th of the year. It's the Rockies' 2nd home run in their last 10 ball games. They're up 8-0. to you by Subaru. Love it's what makes a Subaru. It's Subaru. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies Club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by UC Health. Live extraordinary. With my partner Ryan Spilborg, Taylor McGregor, I'm Drew Goodman. Pretty night at Coors Field. Temperature beginning of the evening in the low 70s under a full moon. And the Rockies are enjoying an 8-0 lead as we go to the top of the 5th. This is how you want to start a homestand, isn't it?
Perfect.
Especially the most important homestand by far of the year. Scott Kingery, Zach Eflin, and Scott Kingery, a pinch hitter. I'm so used to a position player batting eighth. Eflin's been out of the game for a while. J.P. Crawford's going to be the pinch hitter next, and then Roman Quinn. Kingery fouls off that pitch. Harvest Moon over Coors Field this evening. 8 runs, 8 hits for the Rockies. No more off days. The Rockies will play 4 against the Phils, 3 against Bryce Harper and the Nationals. 1 hop at Story. He'll come over the top, guides it to first, 1 out. And here's what the other 4 teams, we'll include the Cubs right now. They're leading the Central. See, they have 4 against the Pirates in that Heat series with St. Louis. The Brewers are pretty much, they have to fall apart not to secure one of the wild cards. And the Dodgers, as we said, they're on the road the rest of the way. 3 in Arizona, 3 in San Francisco. The Giants, Bruce Bochy, they may be shorthanded, but they're going to give the Dodgers all they want. 1 out. Here's J.P. Crawford off the bench. Well received at the top of the zone by Tony Walters. Just the manipulation of that catcher's glove to kind of hood the top of the zone. Influence Mark Wegner. 1 ball, 1 strike. That one not called a strike, so it's 3-1. Ranger Suarez is now up in the Phillies panel, left-hander. John, a couple borderline pitches didn't go his way, so that's the 3rd walk allowed by John. 1 out. Crawford to first, and Roman Quinn will come up.
Enjoy fan appreciation fireworks at Coors Field on September 28th. Come for the game against the Nationals and stay for an electrifying fireworks show courtesy of T-Mobile. All fans will also receive a 2019 Magnet schedule courtesy of T-Mobile.
Tony didn't just fire that one back. He walked out a couple steps in front of the plate. Shouted some encouragement to John. A refocused type of declaration, you'd imagine. And can they turn it on Quinn? There's 1 to first. Yes, they did. 2nd double play turn tonight. 4-6-3 by the Rockies. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It is all Colorado. Blackman, LeMahieu, and Dahl on a pretty Monday night. Really pretty when you look at the scoreboard. Time for At the Dish, brought to you by Dish Network. Look at this. Players with at least 70 at-bats all time against the Fightin' Phils. Highest batting average ever. Like anybody, not just Rockies, ever.
Yeah, take that, Jamie Moyer. Take that.
Ryan Spilborghs, how did you accumulate so many at-bats?
I told you, Jamie Moyer pitched forever, and I wore him out.
So they kept tapping you on the shoulder saying you can go play?
Yeah, that was essentially all my numbers right there, those 70 at-bats.
419, very impressive.
I remember hearing a Philadelphia Phillies radio show one time. We were driving into the stadium in the taxi, and it was like, who the bleep is Ryan Spilborghs, and how is he getting hits against our Phillies?
It was that. The guy hosting the show was the guy you met at Chase Stadium. You go, who's this guy Spill against, and why is he hitting us so hard? Ranger Suarez is now in the ball game, young left-hander. He made his major league debut on July the 26th as a starter, and the reason it's noteworthy, the Phillies never have a left-handed starter. When he made that start, it had been 266 starts straight by right-handers until Suarez made that one start on July 26th.
Well, that would have meant that I'd never get to play against the Phillies if I was facing the Phillies now.
Yeah, you'd never get to play. You'd have 4 at-bats.
There was Cole Hamels, Jamie Moyer, J.A. Happ.
Charlie with a comebacker. Charlie's 1 for 4, and that'll bring up DJ's 1 for 2 and a walk. Scored a couple runs.
My guess the magic number for the Rockies starters to come out of the game was, or is, 10 runs. You get that number to 10, I think you're going to see the full-on line change.
But I still don't think you'll see it before the 7th inning.
You don't think so?
No, because this time of year, you know how managers are, especially at Coors Field. You have to make absolutely sure. And you'd say, well, 10-run lead. In the air to center. Roman Quinn. Zach Eflin started, and he had an 8-pitch 1-2-3 first inning. Then the Rockies loaded the bases in the 2nd without scoring because John Gray came up with 2 outs. They got him to bounce to 3rd. They got 5 in the 3rd. They ran off Eflin after a couple of outs, and now they're on to their 3rd bullpen guy. And then David Dahl, of course, hit the 2-run home run in the 4th inning. David coming up now with 2 outs and nobody on. Still no word on Altair. We're not going to show you, but a fan trying to catch that home run was there with his glove, and unfortunately,
yeah, he didn't do so well.
Yeah, he kind of whiffed on it, that gentleman, but he looks okay. He got hit in the face, but he's still out there. He's icing up the face. We're happy to report that he looks to be okay. 1-2-3 inning for Suarez. We go to the 6th. The Rockies up 8-0. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. A perfect moon. Harvest moon. Full moon.
How?
And appropriately, the Gray Wolf. 5 shutout innings for John. Top of the order, and this is lined toward Paul left. Almost misjudged that. Cesar Hernandez on 1 pitch is retired. That'll bring up Carlos Santana. Are you a Carlos Santana guy?
Big fan of Carlos Santana. My dad's a big fan of Carlos Santana.
Your dad looks like he'd be a big fan of Carlos Santana. Dougie's a big fan of Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Carlos Santana. It's unanimity.
Play that guitar.
0-1 on Santana. Inside, Jack Nicholson, 1-1.
My dad and I actually saw Carlos Santana, not this Carlos Santana, but the musician Carlos Santana at the Santa Barbara Bowl. Great concert.
How many does the Santa Barbara Bowl seat? Do you know?
I have no idea, but it's a beautiful outdoor theater, like amphitheater. It's great.
Doug's been to every musical venue in the country. Have you been to? He's not been to the Santa Barbara Amphitheater.
It's great.
Rockies do shift on Santana. I'm laughing
because you just saw how big the Santa Barbara County Bowl is.
You looked it up. 4,562. In case you were curious, we don't round off here. It's not 400.
But it gets loud there. You know, one of my jobs that I had in high school.
This should stay in for Nolan.
I worked as a valet, and I would put the parking together at the Santa Barbara County Bowl for the concerts, and we would pack these cars in there, and I was in charge of making sure that all the cars would fit.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 17.
So people drive up in expensive cars,
yep.
and they're tossing their keys to some 17-year-old derelict like you.
Yep, but I was great at Tetris, so I was really good at packing these cars in.
Sir, we need like 17 people to come who've kind of jammed you in, but we're going to get you out at some point before sunrise. Odubel Herrera, 1 for 2. How about John? That's pitch number 78. First inning, he threw 30 pitches, and he looked good. You were right on it from Jump Street. He did give up a couple hits. There was a walk in there, but he got out of that bases loaded situation. A nasty slider to Aaron Altair. And since that time, he's dominated. And of course, it's nice when you have an 8-run lead.
Sure, but he's never stepped off the gas. I'm hoping after the game we ask him mentally, did you change at all as the score got bigger? And I'm going to say he's probably focused no. I mean, all the fastballs tonight have been touching 95 to 96.
We've seen a couple 97s tonight, which we haven't seen in a long time. It's a slider in the dirt, 2-2. John has struck out 5. Tempo much better tonight as well.
Well, the mechanics, the tempo, his release point, just watching how his leg lifts right now too. He's getting it higher up.
And John knocks it down. He's got time. Well done. 1, 2, 3 inning. And again, 3 straight innings of low pitch counts for Big John. 8-0 Colorado.
Rockies on top, 8-0 as Nolan Arenado steps into the plate. Him and Trevor Story love playing baseball for meaningful games in September. But what can be a challenge for these guys is enjoying the moment but not being too overwhelmed by it. We asked Trevor Story what his approach to this is.
It's a fun spot to be in. You know, this is why, you know, we play the game. You know, we have a chance to win some games and, you know, hopefully get a little help, and, you know, we'll be where we want to be. But just really one day at a time is how we're trying to approach it.
Billy, I hope you can expand on this of how important it truly is to take it day by day when you feel like you have to win every single game here down the stretch.
Yeah, that's a great point, Taylor. The most important thing, in having gone through it, that 2007 group, the 2009 group, it wasn't a game-by-game thought process. We have to win this game. It became something as simple as we have to win this pitch. We have to win this inning. And when you start getting a team philosophy, which is, I don't care if I do it, I trust that Drew will come behind and take a quality at bat.
Careful.
You start trusting in your teammates to the point where you believe as a group, thinking pitch by pitch, inning by inning, that your team is better than whatever team you're facing. It becomes a much easier mentality than we have to win today.
Well, it certainly worked for you guys in 07, 09. Inside on Trev, 2-1. And first start back for Trevor after having to come out of that ball game Monday in Los Angeles. And you can play woulda, coulda, shoulda all night long, especially in this sport. But you're wondering, you know, if Trevor was around Tuesday or Wednesday, because Monday became a blowout, 8-2 Dodgers. This is in the air down the right field line, twisting out of play. But, you know, could he have thrown out that difference-making at bat? You'll never know. But you just keep. I know we've had so many discussions over beers the last few days, me, you, and Huey and our crew, and saying, you know, if you could have stolen one of those games in LA, even though that first game it turned south so quickly, and then you're half game out leaving. And who knows? You'd be sitting, if the math stayed the same, he's sitting in first place right now. And this is smoked, and Kingery somehow comes up with it and turns it into a double play. That's a terrific play by Scott Kingery. That was not easy.
Well, even his feet. Kingery's going to get his body in front of this. But look at the feet. It's almost out of self-defense. It's right on target for Cesar Hernandez to make the turn. He doesn't even know where the baseball is quite yet. The Subaru Supermo. I don't think he ever handled that baseball clean at any point.
It was hit so hard. Still a 6-4-3. Parr's had another big night. Gerardo takes a strike. A walk in the second, an RBI single in the third, an RBI single in the fourth. Ranger Suarez, second inning of work. Well, Milwaukee has caught St. Louis in the top of the seventh. First and third with 2 outs. It's 4-4. Still 1-1 down in the desert between the Diamondbacks and Dodgers. That's Clayton Kershaw.
It's going up
Robbie
against
Ray. Yep. And another base hit for Parra. I'd say Parra's in a pretty darn good place right now.
Yeah, you're not taking Parra out of the lineup anytime soon. 3 for 3 with a walk. Catch any of the next 3 games against the Phillies with the Coca-Cola Value Pack. You get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, parking, and more. All for only $59 or $79, depending on the location.
We're happy to report Spilly Ketel Marte just hit a home run, 2-1 Arizona.
Go Diamondbacks.
To Kershaw deep. a strike on Ian. 2 and a walk, scored a run in the 3rd inning. The Rockies have received 7 walks in this game, and they've thrown out 10 hits. Huge chopped baseball. Santana whiffs on it. Kingery throws it up the first base line. And Parra is going to get waved home. The throw to the plate. Not caught there. He scores. Desmond stops at second. And this is about where the carnival music comes out. That was one ugly play defensively by Philadelphia.
118 errors on the season. The Rockies have committed 70 if you want something to compare it to. There's another opportunity for us to see Carlos Santana at 3rd base. For Kingery, having made a great double play earlier in the inning, that's one that you should just ate the baseball.
I mean,
when the Subaru Superman, you might want to turn away.
Yeah, Kingery almost hit Santana in the back of the head. He needed to eat that baseball. Tony Walters an intentional walk. So Tony's been up 4 times. He's walked 4 times. And Gray will come up for the 4th time. You're the starting pitcher and you get 4 ABs. You know it's a good night. Rockies leading 9-0. That was one of the uglier defensive sequences I've seen in a while. We're going to give Desmond a hit. And then an E6 allowing Parra to score all the way from first. Gray's 0 for 2 and he's walked. Kingery's going to get an opportunity here. And he's accurate with that throw. So the Rockies get a run. They had 3 hits in the inning. An unearned run. 9-0 they lead. Hey, this was yesterday, and you know Ryan Spilborghs is always a gracious host. Slowly, friends gathered. They brought brooms and they brought signage, and then they got to get a little exercise. And there was a wave at one point. Spilly leading the way. It's like a middle-aged.
That's Let's go
Pilates
backwards.
instructor.
I didn't know what I was going to do with this. I was like, all right, let's just think of like random things to do.
But they all
It's
followed
like-
suit immediately.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
I like the different names. It ended up being called Spilly's Herd.
Spilly's Herd.
On the Twitter account, which was great. And again, like thanks to all the people, over 50 people. I wrote down every single name.
You took attendance.
I took attendance. It was the party that I wasn't expecting to host. And the best part about a baseball game is that they didn't have to go home. They just couldn't stay there.
Couldn't say. Do you know, I was walking on the concourse to get my my nightly foo-foo coffee, and somebody stopped me and said, "Is Spilly going to be up in one of his rally
section,
seats,
yeah.
right?" And I said, "No, he's got to sit next to me tonight." And I said, "But you know, if we need to, we'll just kick him out." And she was thrilled with that idea.
Yeah, there's no question. I'll do whatever it takes
We
to
know
make sure
that.
this team gets to the playoffs.
And if we can come on camera for one more moment here, we're going to show you the other key factors. Rhys Hoskins took strike one here in the top of the 7th. This has not gone away, even though it had a rough time in Los Angeles.
Yeah, these boots are still on.
Yeah, the boots are still on. Here, let's stretch, because
You're not supposed to show your soles to people. It's offensive.
It is?
Yeah.
In what culture?
I don't know. There's a culture where they find it offensive.
2-1. That's crushed. That young man can do that. And it's 9-1. So the shutout is gone for John Gray. Rhys Hoskins, 33rd home run of the year. He's got jet fuel power. There may be a lot of guys dealt after this season in Philadelphia, and they may be very active in free agency with some of the biggest names out there. This kid's not going anywhere.
No, it'd be crazy to move this guy. 30 homers against right-handers, 3 against lefties. That ball was blistered.
Yeah, we'll get the report on how far that went. Wilson Ramos at the plate.
It was 109 miles an hour off the bat. On the Subaru Supermo. And I like that John's just challenging the hitters right now. You got a 9-0 lead.
444 feet.
There's the numbers on the Subaru Statcast. 109 miles an hour, 444 feet.
Travis Shaw having a sneaky good year with the long ball. Two-two, swung on, and foul ball. John at 90 pitches. So Buddy and Steve Foster. Love to see him get through this 7th inning. And Ramos going to ground out here. Tonight's attendance is brought to you by Cricket Wireless, and there are 30,336 in the house. You folks, come on out tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, the weekend series against the Nationals. Spilly, you could speak to this. We talk to players all the time, and it makes a huge difference when they're, you know, when you have the 10th man behind you.
We saw it in practice at Dodger Stadium a week ago. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was electric at Dodger Stadium. 48,000 one night. We had 50,000 fans there. It's a different feel for the players, and they feed off the energy of the fans. This weekend, we know it's going to be huge crowds, rightfully so.
First at bat for Jose Bautista. He had to come in the game when Aaron Altair ran into the wall on the Dahl home run. 2-2 on the former Toronto star.
Well, there's a rain delay in St. Louis.
4-4 bottom of 7. They've had to pull the tarp. Bautista goes down. Strikeout number 6 tonight for John. He's going to get high marks from Buddy Black when you watch the Toyota postgame show. Good slider.
Subaru Supermo. There's the dot. You can see it on the slider. Good late breaking action. It's been a pitch that has been away from John. He hasn't had the great feel with the slider over the last really 5 starts for him.
Scott Kingery and that fastball and Spilly all night.
95s.
It's 95 to as high as 97 on a couple of occasions, but whatever adjustments he made, staying over the rubber longer, whatever it is, you're seeing the uptick in velocity that you're accustomed to with John.
He has a great fastball.
Tremendous fastball. That's why he went second in the draft, or third in the draft.
That's why it was so remarkable to me early in September when he had the start against the Dodgers and he threw sliders 62% of the time. Tonight he's thrown far more fastballs than sliders. He's thrown 45, 55 fastballs compared to 31 sliders.
If he gets him on a slider, he only goes fastball, and that was a great one. Kingery had no shot. He just was hoping he wasn't called out on strikes by Mark Wegner. Just off the plate, it's 1-2. Pitch number 100. With the large lead, we're talking about it from a position player standpoint. The other thing it affords Buddy, because if this was a close game, no matter what, you were not going to see Wade Davis or Adam Ottavino both down tonight. They pitched in every game in the series in Phoenix. But now, you know, you have a lot of options as long as you maintain this lead. I'm sure this will be all for John after this inning. But you can even stay away from, you know, the Sungwon Ohs, the Obergs, if you like, 2 of your other mainstays on the plus side.
Well, you know, tomorrow, most likely it is a Johnny Holstaff day.
Yeah, and a great point, Spilly, because you're going to need all hands on deck.
So you'd like to stay as far away from any of the guys tonight. And it's not saying that there's one reliever in there that you're trying to sacrifice, but where that anybody out there in the bullpen is not as good as somebody else. But you'd like to make sure that if you're going to use somebody in the bullpen tonight, it's one person. That's it. That's it. You want it to be John and one other reliever take this team home. That's it.
Two, and another foul ball. This, by the way, folks, is just the second time that John's been over 100 pitches since his return from Albuquerque. You know, it was just a brief time down in Albuquerque, a couple of starts, and he pitched exceptionally well initially. But again, it he wasn't throwing 100+ pitches. He's been very good tonight. Best we've seen him in a while. And he gets a strikeout there. And that's a great way for John to finish the night. Did give up the solo home run to Hoskins. 7 innings, a 1-run, 4-hit baseball, 7 strikeouts. Ow! Next to him and visit with his big right-hander. Our Kubota pitching performance of the night. Those are outstanding numbers. And John came out firing bullets. He had to get out of a little bit of a spot, if you will, in the first inning. Bases loaded. He got a strikeout of Aaron Altair to put down the threat. And after that, not much. Of course, the one long ball that Rhys Hoskins hit. But that was it. So now we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, top of the order for the Rockies, Charlie Blackmon.
That's got to feel so good for John. It has to feel great for the pitching coaches. So Darryl Scott and Steve Foster talking with John Gray, just reinforcing, because you know he's worked his tail off this week. Even Ian Desmond, he understands it. Yeah, wet up the hair. His hair was wet tonight. And he pitched with a different swagger. He pitched with a different presence that we've seen from him.
3rd inning for Ranger Suarez. Gave up an unearned run in the 6th. Rockies had 3 hits. It was a costly error by Kingery. And this is up the first base line. And Suarez covers the bag. Rhys Hoskins flipped it to him. 1 out.
I was really enjoying seeing John getting all the different congratulations from his teammates. There's Tyler Anderson telling him, see how you were acting tonight? That's how you should do it. Parr liked it.
As he Parr, so you give him the nod.
Like, you done?
You got to come visit here. Parr's giving him some love now.
You know,
we show that a lot, and I know we speak to it a fair amount. You can't overstate the importance. I'm going to point out a couple of guys, and they're not alone. But Gerardo Parra and even Carlos Gonzalez, it's been tough. Listen, it's been tough. Cargo, who knows what will happen at the end of the year. He's an all-time Rocky, not playing a lot right now. Gerardo, who knows what will happen. He's a free agent. He's in his 3rd year with the Rockies. He's popped up to right. But what those guys bring day in and day out, from spring training forward in the clubhouse, on the bench, they are all in, and they're 2 of the most popular Rockies that I can think of over the years.
well, I just want you to consider what John has gone through the last 3 starts. He had an ERA over 10. And for somebody that's going through this September chase where you feel like you're the weak link of the starting rotation, which, look, those numbers prove that start when John, we weren't sure what you were going to get. Tonight, to have what he did, and then you see his teammates rally around and kind of pound him on the chest, like, we need that. That feels like integration back into the group where you felt like, okay, I'm not the weak link anymore. And for Gerardo, to your point about leadership, bringing him in from the position players and giving him that affirmation, that's huge.
Yep, Ian Desmond, same thing. 1-2-3 inning for Suarez. We go to the 8th, 9-1 Colorado. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Dish Network, better TV for all. Rockies enjoying a 9-1 lead at 20th and Blake. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Taylor McGregor. And Tyler Anderson was supposed to go tonight. Some shoulder soreness, so he's been pushed back. John Gray, 7 beautiful innings this evening. And now Harrison Musgrave will take over. And it'll be 8-9-1 for the Phillies in the top of the 8th. Pedro Florimon, switch hitter I should say, will come up here from the right side. Jared Eichhoff is in the Phillies pen, so he'll be next up. No, you know what? There's Cargo on cue.
Musgrave will be asked to pick up the final 2 innings of this game. That will work.
One pitch, 1 out. Florimon retired. And now another switch hitter, the center fielder Roman Quinn. We've seen him from the left side, a walk and a 4-6-3 double play. And we'll see him from the right side. That's outside. Quite a young player who the Phillies like a lot. He has game-altering speed. Hitless in his last 18 at bats.
So I told the story earlier about how Quinn was a good football player.
Yeah.
And the story goes, he makes a catch. He ends up getting met by the defense, who laid him out. And he said after catching that football and after getting laid out by an NFL safety, he goes home and tells his mom, "I'm done."
Like baseball a lot better, Mom.
It's Calvin Pryor, who's the safety. He's played for several years with the New York Jets. That guy ended his football career with one hit.
That's a strike. Phillies have Andrew Knapp, backup catcher, now on deck to hit for Cesar Hernandez. (3-2). And that's going to be a base hit, and this one is in triple territory.
Oh, he's going to get the reason.
He'll be rounding third. So that snaps an 0 for 18 for Roman Quinn, a one-out triple.
Well, we heard if you get a chance to watch this kid run, pay attention because he flies. He did not disappoint. It reminds me a little bit of Eric Young Jr. Loved watching EY run when he was with the Rockies. Junior could fly.
Quick strider. We saw Junior this year with the Angels.
Yeah, Quinn is a quick strider, not a long strider.
Quick strider. So here's Andrew Knapp. We were speculating about if Buddy would, pull guys out. Again, the game's so important, even with Story just coming back. Story's still out there, top of the 8th inning. One and one. Still 2-1 Arizona in the 5th inning over Kershaw and the Dodgers. And that's Robbie Ray. Hard throwing left-hander going for Arizona. Rain delay in St. Louis. 4-4 8th inning.
When the Cubs lost tonight to the Pirates in Chicago 5-1. Which makes that Central interesting.
And it's all the better right now because you want the Cubs in desperation mode come the weekend when they face the Cards. 1-2 on Knapp, 2-2. You got to love it, man. You play 162 games, and tonight the Rockies are playing game number 156, and you have really 5 teams battling away. The Cubs are going to go to the postseason. It looks like Milwaukee's going to go to the postseason. Good pitch. 2 outs. It's really 3 for 2 with the Rockies, Cardinals, Dodgers.
It's really what it boils down to.
Let's go downstairs, see what Taylor's up to. Taylor?
Yeah, a huge reason for the Rockies being in this late September push is their road wins. We saw them collect their 44th road win on this last trip. That is a franchise record, and it is thanks to the starting pitching. We have talked about it so much. Check that out. 3.82 from the starters on the road. That's second all-time in franchise history. The 09 team, the only team better than that. But when I was looking at these numbers, I think what got me so excited is the fact that every single starter who has marched out on the mound for the Rockies this season is under 30 years old, and that is the only Rockies are the only Major League Baseball team that can say that, guys.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. It's good stuff because the Rockies rotation for several years under the Rockies' control. And what we mean by that, if some of you are not quite clear on that, is you have 3 years where you basically make the major league minimum, and then you have 3 years of where you're arbitration eligible, Mitch Walding takes another strike. He's pinch hitting for Carlos Santana. And then it's based on how your statistics match up with, you know, other guys who first year eligible. And you can see guys make huge jumps.
Sure.
But you're still under control by your franchise. And then you reach free agency after the 6th year. There's sometimes you can happen a little bit earlier if you're what's known as a super 2, but rather than confuse the argument. But the Rockies' young rotation, headlined by Freeland and Marquez, all under control for a while. And that is what is so unusual for Colorado.
That's the perfect scenario for any front office, is having young, controllable talent in a window where your position players are matched up with that pitching staff. And that's where the Rockies are. They have a core group of position players that are right in their window as far as being effective and performing well.
Strike 3. Mitch Walding is called out. Roman Quinn, who tripled with 1 out, stranded at third. Nice job by Harrison Musgrave. Middle of 8, 9-1 Colorado.
Every moment this season, get Rockies home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. That's what my family's doing in Palmdale. Tia Lila, one of my mother's sisters, the aunts, are paying attention in Palmdale. They've become huge Rocky fans. Hola, Tia.
Bunch of changes. We're going to see him both ways. Ryan McMahon is going to pinch hit for Nolan Arenado here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pitching is Jared Eichhoff. Andrew Knapp is behind the plate. On a missed at a high fastball by McMahon. Get the other changes in a moment. That's a breaking ball for a strike.
Oh dear.
Here are the changes for you. You got Cousins now in left field. Mitch Walding's at third base. Pedro Florimond's at second. Base hit, left center field. 0-2 pitch. Good piece of hitting there by Ryan McMahon for the Rockies tonight. double figures in hits. It's their 11th hit of the ball game. Trevor's going to get another at bat, and again, he may come out defensively. And even though he has swung it great tonight, 2 doubles, and even the ground ball double play hit into, that was a sharp one hopper. Trying to accumulate some at bats for him since he missed a week. Cut fastballs outside.
That's exactly right. Still want to get those ABs, make sure you have everything feeling right.
Off the 5th pitcher out of the bullpen tonight for Philadelphia. Curveball misses there.
David Freese just tied it up in Arizona. It's 2-2 now.
You know, it's funny. I just got a text from a friend in Arizona that said Turner an 11th pitch at bat. Justin Turner flew out to left, 2 outs. Dodgers still ahead 2-1, and then Freese came up. But that's the beautiful thing. I mean, everybody who's a Rockies fan, they're watching the Rockies with one eye and got another eye on either the Dodger game or the Cardinal game. Or probably not the Cardinal game right now since they're in a rain delay. 2-2. And that is strike 3 on Trevor. Bring up Parra. He's had a perfect night. 3 for 3 and a walk. Garrett Hampson's in the on deck circle, so Ian Desmond's going to get a break also. This is top to first, and Rhys Hoskins didn't have a play on McMahon. 2 outs, and Hampson played a ton of baseball over the weekend. Did a nice job. He'll come up here in a pinch hitting role for Desmond.
He did do a nice job. He played a good shortstop.
The one at SQ yesterday didn't end up hurting the Rockies, but he had one ball game I think Saturday, had the bunt hit, then the double late in the ball game.
It's just a different skill set. It's high contact. He's going to play shortstop, very calm and collective shortstop. And he brings that element of speed, which is nice.
You'll see Hampson go to short. You see Blake at third and McMahon at first, or the other way around. Blake at first and McMahon at third. How short did the Rockies ahead? They have 12 hits, 9 runs on 12 hits. 2-0. I was talking to Jeff Salazar today, the Rockies assistant hitting coach, about the leg kick for Garrett Hampson. Hey, Sally. And you know, it's a big leg kick for a guy who's not a big guy, and he said he doesn't mind it because this ball's hit a long way. Stay fair. It is a foul ball.
I'd be like, there's your leg kick right there.
That'd have been the first home run in the young career of Hampson. He's hit plenty of minor league home runs. He's got some juice in the bat. But what he looks at is, because this got to be a high on base percentage guy because of what you were talking about, his speed. And he said he's balanced. He takes a lot of walks. So sometimes with guys with high leg kicks, they're going. But he is able to put his foot down and stay balanced and not expand. 2-1. And there's a good example of it. Borderline pitch, it went his direction.
Here's on the Super mode the ball that just went foul. If you're getting your leg kicked down in time, it's just a timing mechanism, and it's okay. It's when you start seeing high velocity or somebody in the stretch that it either speeds up your mechanics for your leg kick. That's when it becomes an issue.
This ball's hit pretty well to right center field, and it is off the base of the wall. And Hampson with a run-scoring double. And you get a feel for just how strong he is as he drives home McMahon with the Rockies' 10th run.
Well, I like the at-bat from Ryan McMahon to lead off the inning. And I love the at-bat from Hampson. These are important for Bud Black to see, especially down the stretch. He was well connected on the Super mode. Perfect timing after pulling an off-speed pitch foul. This time taking a fastball up and in, driving it opposite field.
Billy, he hit that ball, 390, 400 feet to the opposite field gap. Can Tony match Todd Helton in the record books? Everybody on the edge of their couch right now. Tony's had 4 plate appearances tonight. He's walked 4 times. That has happened 21 times in Rockies history. Only one man has walked 5 times in a game, and it will remain Todd Helton. A single and a double by Hampson, and the Rockies are up 10-1. They need 3 more outs. Back after this.
One Trevor Story, 2 doubles on the night. Welcome back, Trevor Story. All in all, great night. Good welcome home from the fans here. And with the other scores knotted up, all distraction aside, the Rockies just need to win.
Yep. Well, that's what we talked about. You just go take care of business. And tonight, kudos to John Gray. That first inning was a little wobbly. Shut it down after that.
And the offense showed up in a huge way. You mentioned Trevor Story, but everybody in the lineup playing a huge part. That's what you want to see on the first day of a homestand. That's arguably the most important homestand.
It's obviously the most important homestand. Guys, we'll send it back to you. We'll see you right after the game for the Toyota postgame show.
All right, Jenny, you bet. Let's take you through the defensive changes for the Rockies. David Dahl's now in center field. Noel Cuevas is in right field. And in the infield, Pat Valleca is in there at third base. Garrett Hampson stays in the ball game. DJ comes out. So Story's going to play the whole ball game. And Ryan McMahon is at first base. And throwing the ninth inning will be DJ Johnson. Starting to rain here at Coors Field. Dylan Cousins came in the game defensively last inning.
Rockies fans are making a mad dash of the concourse. They're also reacting to the Diamondbacks taking the lead against the Dodgers, 3-2 now. Ketel Marte with the base hit.
Ketel Marte having a night against LA. Little blooper to center field. This pop-up.
This is going to be fun.
The center field. Dahl's going to have a very clean face, and he catches the baseball and laughing with no out.
Coors Field is a great place for group outings. Groups of 20 or more receive discounted pricing, scoreboard recognition, and more. Call for more information.
1 out in the 9th inning. It's really coming down right now. Rhys Hoskins. This is in a tough area, and it's out of play. Rhys Hoskins, a long home run in the 7th inning, the only run for Philadelphia.
Tom Murphy, the only guy sitting on the Rockies bench in the rain, doesn't bother him one bit.
You know what? Tommy's a hunter, man. He's used to being out in the elements.
Yeah, look, he's the only one. He loves it. So I figure if my teammates are out there getting rained on, I might as well get rained on with it.
And Hoskins gone. 2 outs in the 9th. Justin Bour, the former Marlin. Phillies made a lot of moves, and they didn't get a whole lot out of them, quite frankly. They picked off some big names. He was on their bench we haven't mentioned all night. I'm sure at some point we will in this series. It's a 4-gamer. As Drupal Cabrera came from the Mets inside the division. And this will end the ball game. Ground ball to Hampson, and the Rockies with an emphatic statement to begin this 7